And they have the ability to do this. I mean, they absolutely do, folks. I put a video out last year called New World Order, The Final Solution. In that film, I showed tests that were done in the 1970s where they actually put a processor on top of a cat's head. This was before they had implants. This thing was about the size of a light switch. They put it on top of this cat's head, they attached it to its brain, and they started controlling the emotions of the cat simply by changing the frequency that they were putting into the processor. This is in the 1970s, folks. This is not science fiction. This is not conspiracy theory. This is science fact. This is what they were doing, and this is 40 years ago. So you imagine where this technology has been taken now. And one might also wonder at these swine flu vaccinations, because you can have a microchip that is smaller than the breadth of a hair, and you can put this into a vaccination. You could quite easily put a microchip in every person on the planet simply by introducing mandatory vaccinations. And folks, I wouldn't put it past these people to do this. I would be trusting these people as far as I can throw an aircraft carrier. I really would. You can't trust what these people do, folks. All these people know how to do is lie. That's all they do. That's all the government does is lie. It doesn't do anything else. That's what these people do. And we know that eugenics has been on their agenda for many, many years. And you look at all of the societies that study brain function and microbiology, and all of these different societies, these are all started by organizations such as the Rockefeller Foundation. All of these elite families are the ones who have been looking into genetics and biogenetics and bioengineering and brain studies and all of these things. And the reason that they do it isn't to make life better for you. The reason they do it is because they want to know how to control the population. And they've figured all this out, that all you've got to do really is control people on a chemical and electromagnetic level. So they do it with food toxins, with water toxins. They give out mobile phones and stuff to everybody. They don't give you a $600 mobile phone on a $1 plan because they want you to have expensive technology, folks. They do it because they want you to have the mobile phone, because they want to be able to get to you electromagnetically. And understand, I've said many, many times that you only experience 3% of reality. 97% of what's actually going on in this world you're unaware of. And this is because only 3% of your DNA is active. So only 5 of your senses are active. But there are a lot more than 5 senses. We just can't access what these senses are. To us it seems incredible or unbelievable that there would be any more than 5 senses, because 5 senses is all that we can conceive of, because it's all we've ever experienced. But these 5 senses that we experience are based on 3% of reality and 3% of our DNA that's active. If we can access the other 97% of our DNA, then we can experience a lot more higher senses. This is very significant, folks, and it's very important that we learn how to open up and activate and thus program our own DNA, because this is what true evolution is. True evolution is an evolution of consciousness. Evolution exists, but not in the Darwinian sense. Species simply don't become other species. Sure, they say that life crawled out of the sea, it became, it was fish, and then it became reptiles, then it became animals, then it became primates. Well, there's no transitional species. There's no half lizard, half animal things around. There's no half mammal, half primate. There's no half primate, half human. There's no transitional species anywhere in the evolutionary chain, because it isn't the species that actually evolved. What evolved was consciousness, because that's what evolution is about. It's an evolution of consciousness. I wouldn't be surprised if, when consciousness does evolve, new species spontaneously appear. That's just the way it works. They would appear as consciousness requires them to appear. That's why there's no transitional species, and that's why there will always be missing links in the evolutionary chain. I mean, I don't know, it's speculation, isn't it? But it certainly makes a lot more sense than what we're presented with by Darwinian evolution. That really makes no sense at all. Even Darwin said, hey, look, this is only a theory, guys. I'm not really sure, but it's a theory that I've got. And they never really looked into it too much from there, folks. So that might be a bit of a sign there as well. We'll talk about that a little bit more anyway after the break. I think it's pretty well time for a break, folks. So we'll go and have a break, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back, folks. So Darwinian evolution, yeah, that was a bit of a strange one. I can't see really how it works at all. But anyway, like I said, there's no transitional species, so I would suggest that what actually evolves is consciousness. Now, when you look at reality and you understand the concept of as above and so below, and understand that this universe that we inhabit, it's fractal in nature, everything works in fractals, and it's the same above as what it is below. This opens you up to all possibilities of reality. And reality can be anything that we want it to be, anywhere that our consciousness decides it wants to go. And this can exist on any level. Now, if you want to understand a little bit about how this works and what is meant by fractal reality, I would very much recommend looking into the work of a scientist who I believe lives in Hawaii at the moment by the name of Nassim Haramein. I've actually contacted Mr. Haramein. I'm hoping to have him on the show as soon as I get a little bit more settled. He has agreed to come onto the show, but I haven't made contact with him in the last few months simply because I've been pretty much in transition for the last few months, and I still am at the moment. But as soon as I'm settled, I do intend to have him on. Now, Mr. Haramein has done a certain amount of experiments. He's a physicist. He's done some incredible work. I highly recommend that you Google his name and look for some information from him on Google Video. You'll find a very fascinating lecture that he did at Rogue Valley, I believe. It just would be Nassim Haramein at Rogue Valley. It's about an 8.5 hour lecture, folks, so be warned with that one. But Mr. Haramein has pretty well proven that at the center of everything, at the center of all matter, is a black hole. The center of every atom is a black hole. This is what gives the atom its energy. This is what causes the electrons to revolve around the nucleus. It's the feedback loop between the contraction and the expansion of the universe, because the universe is contracting at the same moment that it's expanding, because every action has an equal and opposite reaction, blah blah blah, you know how it works. So we know the universe is expanding. So he asked, well, what's contracting then? And what he figured out, that what is contracting is space. What we perceive to be void isn't actually void, it's energy. We've already talked about that on numerous shows. Well, a lot of what I talk about, how this empty matter around us is actually energy. It isn't empty matter, it's simply energy. And that matter is simply divisions in space. Well, Mr. Haramein has actually proven this through physics. And he's figured out that what the energy is that causes the rotation and causes all the things that happen in the universe is the feedback loop between the contraction and the expansion that's occurring in the universe. And at the center of every single atom that exists is a black hole at the center of the nucleus. Now, this universe that we exist in, with everything in it, all the myriad of stars and billions of galaxies and everything that exists in this universe, exists at the center of a black hole. This universe exists within the center of a black hole. Every atom in your body has a black hole at its center. And as above, so below. All that truly exists is consciousness at one point of that fractal reality. Within you are 63 trillion universes within each of us. is approximately 63 or 53 trillion universes, a universe at the center of every atom. And this universe that we exist in also exists within the center of an atom. This is how powerful the mind of the Creator is. This is the reality that was created for us to experience. And we can choose to go anywhere we want in that fractal reality, anywhere our consciousness chooses to go. Anything is possible, and everything must be experienced.